Alright, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little different than normal just because it's like a sit down video and I'm not trying anything on. But I want to take this video because obviously like my passion is health and fitness, and it wasn't until this year that like I really needed to make changes to my health part of it. So basically, just if you haven't been following me or you're not familiar, I'll just kind of recap what happened in 2020 with my health. So basically, a few years ago, I started tracking macros and I found that that was really helpful with my physique goals, and I felt great. I basically could eat whatever I wanted to eat as long as I wasn't allergic, because I have celiac, so I would avoid gluten. And I found that eggs made me, and I found that in the past, eggs made me bloat. So basically I can have whatever I want as long as it didn't have gluten or eggs, and it fit my macros, and I felt great. But then this year, like basically once quarantine happened, like convenient timing, I like started to get really bad bloating. Like every day I would just wake up bloated from the moment I wake up and go to bed, which I've had before, and in the past I guess it was SIBO. So earlier this year I did take a course of antibiotics for SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and basically that just causes you to be bloated all the time. And it didn't really help, the antibiotics, so that's why I ended up going on the medical medium cleanse, which I did 2 videos about, and then that cleanse helped me get rid of the bloating. So now basically it's going to be an update from that point to now. So I felt great after the cleanse. Like it was 9 days, wasn't bloated anymore. I like slowly introduced some foods that I wasn't eating on the cleanse, like meats and stuff like that, and fats, and I was feeling fine. And then just after like 2 months, I would say my bloating came back. And like not only that, I just like noticed that I gained a lot of weight. Like my comfortable weight is usually around 130, where I feel like very lean and fit and whatever, and I'm still eating fine, but I gained like 8 or 9 pounds. So I just like I don't know, I just did not feel myself at all. Like, and that was just really weird for me because the past like 4 years I've been a consistent weight. Basically ever since I started tracking macros years ago, I've been a consistent weight. But then randomly, like I just started gaining weight, and the reason why it also didn't make sense is because I was still eating really well and I was still working out really hard. So it just made absolutely no sense. So that's when I finally decided to see a functional doctor. Sorry, my dog's over here, she wants to say hi. So that's when I saw a functional doctor, actually, because I have a GI doctor. She's the one that gave me the antibiotics for my SIBO, but then we had a follow-up and I said I still was not feeling well at all and I was gaining weight, and she agreed that was just really weird for me. So because I did the medical medium cleanse, she was like, you know, I think instead of you going to like a regular general practitioner, I think that you should go to a functional doctor. I think you would like that. And I did, because I went to this doctor in the city and she was very, very thorough, like on my whole history. And like, you know, they're all about healing you from the inside too. Like it's not just, if one thing's wrong with you, usually there's multiple things that you should be doing and not just like, here, take this drug, right? So that's what I wanted. I didn't want a doctor to just be like, this is what you need to do and that's it. I knew there was more to it. So long story short, she gave me an extensive blood work, which I needed, so like all my hormones and stuff like that. And the biggest things that came up were my TSH was out of range and my thyroid antibodies were out of range. And I had low vitamin D and low testosterone. So all of that made a ton of sense. So basically what that means with my thyroid, like my TSH, my thyroid, is that I have Hashimoto's, like, because if your TSH is out of range, you probably have hypothyroidism, but because my antibodies were 2, that showed I have Hashimoto's, which isn't surprising just because my little 9-year-old sister has Hashimoto's and my grandma had Hashimoto's, and I have celiac, and that makes you at risk for more autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's. Basically that means that my immune system is attacking my thyroid, so that is something that you're gonna have forever. It's not something you can reverse. You can help the effects of it by prescription drugs or like making lifestyle changes. So I know some people, like actually my little sister, what my stepmom did for her was since she's so young, she didn't want to start her on prescription medication just yet, so she put her on this really intense diet called the autoimmune protocol, and that actually greatly helped her symptoms. However, I'm not that intense. I was fine taking the prescription that she prescribed me, which is Armour, and it's been exactly 3 months today, which is why I'm making this video now, because I wanted it to like run its course. So besides the bloating, another big thing was I was so lethargic and tired to the point I was taking naps in the middle of the day, which was, again, not who I am. So I think that was a combination of the Hashimoto's, of the low vitamin D, and the low testosterone. All that stuff together just made me so exhausted. I didn't really think too much about it at that time because I am someone who drinks coffee every day until around the medical medium class. That's around when I stopped doing coffee every day and I got off of coffee, so I haven't had caffeine, and I was just like, oh, maybe it's just because I'm not having caffeine, that's why I'm tired. But no, I feel so much better now, and I'm not bloated either, and I dropped a few pounds too. So basically what this video is I want to go into detail about what I've done the past 3 months with like not only taking the prescription drugs but everything else I've done, because bloating isn't really a symptom of Hashimoto's. You know, it's more like, another thing is I had irregular periods. I wasn't getting my period. I've gotten that back. The bloating, basically your gut and your hormones, like they're all connected, right? So if one thing's off, your whole thing's gonna be off. And I just felt like my gut was off. Like, yes, I felt my hormones were off too because of my low energy levels and my irregular periods, but then I also felt like my gut was off because of my bloating. Basically, what my doctor prescribed me to do was a finger prick test. It's an at-home finger prick test. I'll link below. She said to just do the one that tests for 180 food sensitivities, but I just paid extra and I did like the 300 food sensitivity one. So I did that test, and then I also did a second test called Viome, which Viome is a stool sample and it tests like the environment in your gut. So I actually did those at the same time. Viome was something I just found on my own, and it just so happened I did it at the same time that she told me to do this blood test. So it was a combination of both of those tests that really helped me. So first I'll explain the finger prick test. So that, like I said, it just tests your food sensitivities based off your blood. And that was really surprising to me. So I'm just looking at it down here because I have the results up. Because basically there's like 3 different levels. It's foods you should totally avoid. There's moderate foods to consume like every 4 days, and then low reaction foods, which are fine to have every day. My avoid was casein, cheddar cheese, cottage cheese, cow's milk, goat's milk, sheep milk, and whey, which is very surprising for me. Like, not that I would have dairy every day, like I would just have it on the weekends if I was going out and having gluten-free pasta or pizza or like whatever. I in the past was having whey every day. Like I would have protein bars the past like 2 years ago. I would have protein bars every day and I felt amazing and I was so lean. So I think now my body obviously changed to the point where I'm sensitive to that. So I've completely cut out dairy, and my doctor said to cut it out for 6 months and see how I feel. And I do feel a lot better cutting out dairy. And that is something when you have Hashimoto's, they say to get rid of gluten and dairy. So here I am, gluten and dairy free. And then my moderate consumption was really interesting because things came on that I was having literally every day, like green beans, mustard, beef, zucchini. Literally, if you watch my videos in the past, or like at least on my stories, I'd make a plate of food of chicken, green beans, zucchini, and mustard, and I have that every day. And it's saying that I should only moderately have green beans and zucchini and mustard. And then I also said almonds, and I was having almond milk every day. So just stuff like that, that was really surprising, was my moderate foods. So I've basically, the moderate foods I have been doing moderately. Like I haven't been totally avoiding them, like dairy I just will not have. So that's something really helpful if you want to do that. You can just order it at home and you don't need a doctor prescription, which is crazy to me that no one told me to do that. So that was super helpful. And now I'm going to talk about Viome. So Viome, like I said, is a stool sample. Again, you can order it yourself. So what Viome does is it tests like different pathways in your gut, and there's like a lot of data and it's very hard to interpret, but I was like able to piece it together, which I'll get to in a second. And then it also does like a food test, like, but it's different than the one I just described, because the one I just described is based off your blood. This is based off your stool and your gut environment, right? So there's the superfoods that you should have every day. There's this foods that you should, like, that are just good for you. And then there's foods that you should minimize, and then foods that you should totally avoid. So on my avoid list for that, it actually wasn't too long, but it was amaranth, which I wasn't really having, bell peppers, because it said I had like pepper mild motile virus or something like that, which was helpful because I did have peppers a lot. Cashews to totally avoid, which was in some sneaky stuff that I was having. Cauliflower, coffee, which I was already avoiding. Lobster, which I never have. Pistachios, which I was having on like a crust. Prunes and quinoa, which I would have like in some foods. So that was my avoid list. And then, yeah, I'm not gonna go through like the moderate and enjoy foods. I'll just go through the superfoods. So for me, that was anchovies, which I don't have, but apple cider vinegar, arugula, bone broth, brown rice, capers, carrots, chard, cilantro, dandelion greens, dill, elderberry, flax oil, ghee, ginger, grapefruit, guava, huckleberry, kale, lamb, lemon, MCT oil, olive oil, oregano, pumpkin seeds, radicchio, salmon, sardines, sunflower seeds, trout, turmeric, watercress. So the idea here is you're supposed to have superfoods every day. Obviously, some of that stuff I don't like, but a lot of the stuff that I can tolerate, I was incorporating in my diet the past. It's been almost 3 months now with Viome, so I actually want to do a retest to see if my food's changed. But I've been incorporating a lot of that stuff, like sunflower seeds. I gotta make a huge salad with sunflower seeds, watercress, chard, arugula, like all my health stuff for that. Apple cider vinegar. I would have salmon. I would throw MCT oil in my shakes. I would have like cilantro and carrots every day, capers, brown rice, bone broth. So I was really taking that to heart, because for me, it really wasn't just about avoiding the foods. It was really about the superfoods, because I felt like it's good to get rid of the stuff you shouldn't be having, but then your gut still needs to heal, all right? So like the only way I felt like my gut could heal is if I was eating the foods, like feeding it to help heal it, you know, like putting gas in an empty tank, you know, like, good, I got rid of the bad stuff, but like let's fill it with the good stuff to help my gut lining. And I felt like that was super key and everything. And that's what I'm trying to come across here, because everyone keeps asking me like what foods to avoid, which I think is super important. But I really think if you have a true gut issue, it's really important to also eat things that are gonna help heal your gut. So also what was interesting, like I said, is Viome did these other tests, which I'll like put screenshots of kind of like what it looks like. Some pathways I thought were interesting. Like one was the oxalate pathway, and it said like basically my body shouldn't do like high oxalate foods, which I was having celery juice every day because of like medical medium cleanse. And because I saw that like my body doesn't respond to oxalate, which celery is high oxalate, I actually cut that out. So no more celery juice, thank goodness. That was like so much maintenance. And then there was also something about the LPS synthesis and like how that was low in my pathway, like that pathway was low. And I looked more into that, and it kind of like it alludes to me having leaky gut syndrome, which I did think I have, but I felt like that also was alluding to me actually having leaky gut syndrome. And again, that just reiterates the fact that I need to be doing stuff to help heal it. So this is where supplements come into play here. So if you watched, I made a recent day in the life of healing my gut, and really that does show you like what I did. Basically, it's going through everything I'm explaining now of like what I did every day to help heal my gut. But I'm just gonna kind of like summarize, or I'm gonna go tell you like every supplement I've taken, right? So the first month after I took these tests, I took a lot of supplements, but one of the main ones I was taking was, I don't know if you know Amy Meyers, but she is like a functional doctor and has a bunch of supplements. And I just found her name through my stepmom because she would give her supplements to my little sister. But anyways, I got her Primal Earth probiotics, and I got her Microbe Clear, it's called. It's basically supposed to help, like, if you take a course of antibiotics are not good for you. Like, basically, antibiotics as in, like, we were taking them for UTI, which I did twice this year, and I think that's part of the reason why my gut was messed up. Anyways, you're supposed to take them, like, after taking antibiotics. It's supposed to help, like, restore, or basically, like, clear out the bad stuff in your gut, I want to say, and then, like, but you have to replenish it with good probiotics. So that's why I was taking probiotics, and the microbe clear just like kind of helped reset my bacteria, I think. And then I finished that course, like, because you're just supposed to take it like 1 month and then that's it. So I didn't take it again. And then I take her liver cleanse. It's called liver support, because I wasn't doing the celery juice anymore, but I do like the idea of cleansing my liver. So I was taking that. And then she has this product called Leaky Gut Revive. So I've been putting a scoop of that in my shakes. It's really good ingredients. It's all stuff that if you research is good for bloating and like soothing your gut, like marshmallow root powder, licorice root powder, slippery elm bark, aloe vera. So that is really good to have as well. And yeah, those are the main products I was taking from her. Recently I switched just to like her other probiotic. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. It's also good to switch up your probiotics to make sure that you're getting more diversity in your gut, because literally that was also something that Viome tested for. I had like my diversity was at like a 5%, and it was so low because I was eating the same thing every day and like not taking probiotics. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the last thing I actually was taking from her were her digestive enzymes, which I do take now before, like if I'm having a meal with like protein in it, I'll take digestive enzymes. So those are the supplements from her. Okay, and then I started taking more supplements after my superfoods, because like I was still getting the bloating. It wasn't as bad, but like I would say it went away after like a month of following all the stuff I was doing, because I also incorporated oregano oil for a month. I just took like 1 course of oregano oil because that was one of my superfoods, and I'm really bad at like spicing up my dishes to include stuff like that. So I was taking that. And then like I said, I put MCT oil in my shakes to help heal my gut. And then I was taking Meyers collagen, but the thing is that was made of beef, and I was obviously having that every day, but the food sensitivity test said to avoid or to minimize beef. So I actually switched to the Vital Proteins marine collagen. So I've been having that as well, because collagen is supposed to help repair your gut as well, and the gut lining, and restore that. So that's super important as well. And then I read about L-glutamine, which I throw a scoop of this in my shakes as well, because this is supposed to help your muscle tissue also. And then, like I said, bone broth, not only is bone broth as one of my superfoods, but it's just one in general. Like I read a magazine about how important it is, and that really sparked me to start incorporating bone broth more. So one easy way was getting bone broth protein. So I throw this in my shakes. And then I also I get the Kettle and Fire bone broth, and I actually pour that in my rice when I'm making my rice as like the water. And that's just an easy way to get bone broth in too. So I do that. And then also I read about aloe vera juice. So I have this, I throw a little bit of this in my lemon water every morning, and I have this, and I find it's very soothing for me. My functional doctor was a little iffy because she said it does irritate some people's stomachs, but I actually really have liked this and have been having it for a while now. These are 2 recommendations from my doctor for me. She said to take, I had, I guess, low iron too. I don't know, but she wanted me to take a multivitamin, and this is the one that she recommended here. And then she said also to take some omega-3, so I've been having those. And then elderberry was one of my superfoods, but you can't just like find elderberry. So I actually take these gummies, and I love taking them. Not to mention they're really good for right now in this COVID world, because it's good for immunity. And then since I have low vitamin D, I just take vitamin D. So that is actually like pretty much everything I've been doing. It's a lot, and like I said, like people ask me like what tests to do, and I will stand by both tests. Like I think that the food test was really good to say what I should avoid, and then the Viome test was really good to say what I should be eating to heal my gut. If you personally feel like you have a gut issue, I think you should do both, honestly. Like, because if I just did the blood test, I feel like it would have, like, I would have avoided the foods, but I would still be eating like kind of bad foods. Like the Viome test inspired me on what to eat, you know, like, cause you like read stuff online and like so many different opinions. Like this just tells me exactly what I should be eating every day to get to where I am. And I have not been bloated at all. like dropped a few pounds. I'm still working on that. And I just have my energy so much better and my mood so much better. Like I was just yeah, I was just like, I don't even know how to describe it. I just like was not feeling myself at all, and I just feel so much better. So I really hope I didn't forget anything. Like I'm pretty sure there's probably something I'm gonna think of later that I did, and if I did, maybe I'll just like include it in the comments or something and pin it. But yeah, I really hope this video is helpful, because I get so many girls that not only like deal with bloating, but they also deal with Hashimoto's, and that's just something I feel like I don't see many people talking about. Cause yeah, just like as a female, it just really wrecks your hormones and it's not a fun time. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. And if you're dealing with something like I went through, I'm sorry. And you just, it's all about being consistent, honestly. You can't half do all this. Like this is my daily routine, you know? So I just really advise you to, if you're on a mission to heal your gut, then like do it right, and don't just like do it one day and then the next you're back to eating gluten or whatever you can't eat. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.